If there's one thing Heresy has gotten right, it's the loot, man. The weaponry that has been given to us in this episode is some of the most powerful we have ever seen in Destiny. And today we're going to kick off our first review of our Heretical Arsenal with Psychopomp. Now this one just may have been the most anticipated legendary weapon, as it's not only an arc grenade launcher, it's an arc aerial denial grenade launcher, which is arguably my most used archetype outside of maybe like rocket assisted sidearms. From Lost Signal to Velocity Baton, these GLs, man, when it comes to locking down a room and clearing out ads, they are extremely potent. But Psychopomp takes it to a whole nother level, with it being an arc weapon, taking advantage of our arc based season and the ability to lean into our new arc verb, Bolt Charge. Now first and foremost, if you're trying to get this weapon, guys, we have an entire guide on Heresy, the Nether activity, how to farm for loot, how to target loot. If you want to check that out, we'll have a link to that down below. With that out of the way though, let's dive into these perks. Before we continue today's video, I'd like to let you know about a game called Exoborn. This is a tactical open world extraction shooter that myself, Walla, and Fallout were invited to privately playtest. We made an entire video summarizing my thoughts, but if you're looking for the short version of this, I would say the most unique aspect about this game is the exosuits and the mobility. The mobility in this game is the best I've ever seen in an extraction shooter, whether you're ziplining, hopping over cars, or even riding the winds of a tornado. But then enters our exosuits. The most unique feature to this game are these exosuits. You can put up a shield, you can go invisible, you can hover in midair like a Heat Rises Warlock. There's a lot of different skills to explore. If you'd like to try out the game yourself, Exoborn's Steam page actually has a playtest that's coming up. Big shout out to Exoborn for inviting us and sponsoring today's video. In column 3, we have Envious Arsenal, Eddy Current, Ambitious Assassin, Feeding Frenzy, Pugilist, Stats for All, and Threat Detector. Then in our 4th column, we have Harmony, Elemental Honing, which is a new perk. We'll talk about that more in just a moment. Frenzy, Full Court, which recently got a buff, Rolling Storm, Demolitionist, and Unrelenting. Let's talk about some of the perks in that 3rd column. Ambitious Assassin. This is definitely a perk that has been overlooked for quite some time and for good reason. It's been power crept. Now the perk reads that it overflows the magazine based on the number of rapid kills before reloading. Now this maxes out to about 150% of the magazine capacity, but it rounds up, meaning you can actually overflow your mag to 2 shots, and even better than that is that it only requires 1 kill with Psychopomp. Now Ambitious Assassin also received a nice quality of life update here recently, as the time requirements have been removed, meaning that it doesn't matter how long you wait after getting that kill and reloading. It will still overflow the mag. Now for the enhanced version, we're getting an extra +5 to our reload stats. Now keep in mind, guys, at one time Ambitious Assassin was the go-to perk on Forbearance, which is kind of crazy that we've kind of like forgotten about Forbearance and wave frames, as these aerial denial frames have kind of taken their place. For Psychopomp here though, Ambitious Assassin is an S-tier perk. It's got amazing synergy with one of our origin traits that we're going to talk about here in just a moment. Now, this is probably my top pick for column 3. There are other good options. I personally have an Envious Arsenal role for damage phases, which allows me to loop it into my damage rotations and top off Psychopomp's ammo when dealing damage with my other weapons. Now, the enhanced version actually helps with our inventory stat, giving us +20, which is the equivalent of 1 reserve armor mod. Situational for sure, guys, and definitely only something I use in DPS. Yes, you can utilize this grenade launcher in DPS, especially when it comes to stacking bolt charges. But just for the weapon itself, I do believe that Ambitious Assassin is your best choice, even when comparing it to things like Feeding Frenzy, Stats for All, even Eddy Current. And I love Eddy Current, but I personally think Ambitious Assassin is the way to go. With that being said though, if you are looking for a perk to top off your melee, Pugilist is present in that 3rd column. The base version gives you 10% melee ability energy per kill, with the enhanced giving you 11%. This is more of a utility thing, but something that you can definitely lean into, especially for some of my arc-based builds that lean into your melees. Now moving on to column 4. We have 2 new perks, which is where we're gonna start. First up, we have the perk Rolling Storm. This reads that Final Blows grants Bolt Charge, while Amplified, Final Blows grants additional Bolt Charge. Now this is a very good perk, guys. Each weapon kill is going to grant you 1 stack of Bolt Charge, and if you're amplified, this jumps up to 2 stacks per kill. But then we have the enhanced version, which normally the enhanced version of some traits are like small little stat bumps, but this one's really good. Essentially, weapon kills, while you have no current Bolt Charge stacks, are going to grant additional stacks. So for instance, enhanced Rolling Storm on our first kill will give you 3 Bolt Charge stacks. And then while we're amplifying, this will actually give us 4 bolt stacks. So essentially giving us a head start on reaching those max bolt charges, which is what brings us a tremendous amount of damage. If there's been one thing said about this season, is that bolt charge is absolutely disgusting and arguably the best thing Bungie has ever given us. But wait, there's more. To take this even further, because this grenade launcher ticks damage over time, once you have at least 1 stack, further damage, even if it's not kills, will keep increasing your bolt charge stacks. As you can see here on the screen, guys, just testing this at the Cistern's Lost Sector where Coral is, which isn't even that super ad dense, we can easily get a max bolt charge stack in just 2 to 3 shots. Sometimes even 1 if there's a lot of enemies in the damage pool. I cannot stress just how good bolt charge is this season, guys. The damage is nutty. And Rolling Storm allows you to get to those max bolt charge stacks very easily, essentially giving you a free way to gain bolt charges, which is just extra damage. Now, another new perk that's present here on Psychopomp that came to us this season is Elemental Honing. Dealing unique elemental damage grants this weapon a stacking damage bonus. Now, we've already covered this perk already in our Dungeon God Rolls video, but essentially dealing elemental damage is going to grant you 1 stack of Elemental Honing, which lasts for 20 seconds. And this maxes out at 5 stacks per each element that is used. Now, the enhanced version of this perk is going to increase the buff duration to 23 seconds. It's not a bad perk, guys. It does require you to jump through a lot of hoops though. A single stack gives you 2.5% increase in damage. However, if you get all 5 stacks, that means for all elements, you can actually get a 35% increase in damage. This perk definitely requires you to be mindful of your loadouts. If you find yourself doubling up on Arc, then obviously you're going to run into problems here on getting multiple procs and multiple stacks of Elemental Honing. Now, if you did want to go more traditional routes, you do have things like Frenzy. You also have Demolitionist if you're looking for utility. You can even double that up with Pugilist if you wanted to go that utility route. Now, I know someone's going to ask, Cross, what about full court? Is it time? Is it meta? Yes, Bungie did make a change to full court with the launch of Heresy, where it now scales the detonation and burn damage of aerial denial grenade launchers. Literally meant here for Psychopomp. We actually covered this in our pre and post testing, if you want to check out that video, but you can essentially get a 22% buff here on full court, which is the max damage buff we could get when shooting at a target 55 meters away. Now understand, the trait right here states that it increases detonation damage as the projectile travels further before exploding, and yes, certain encounters you can take advantage of this, maybe like the second encounter of the newest dungeon. I do see the vision. At the same time though, no, not my first choice by no means. And secondly, Rolling Storm is just too good, fellas. Too good! Now I know Unrelenting is also present there in that final column, which a week ago I would have actually suggested. Unrelenting was a great perk for the Nether activity, as it essentially gave you full health, which is very beneficial for Nether, considering you don't regenerate health automatically. But this has since been toned back, and with the most recent update to Destiny, it does not start that health regeneration anymore. It just gives you a small amount of health. So again, all the more reason to rock Rolling Storm, which takes us to our God Roll. Now, before we really start breaking this down though, we do need to talk about its origin traits. First, we have the Willing Vessel origin traits. Dealing damage or defeating targets with this weapon gradually increases stability, handling, and reload speed, as well as your charge rate. Now, this effect gradually decreases over time, but is gained more quickly while near allies. Now, I will say that this trait is a bit complicated, at least from a testing perspective, but essentially, yes, this stacks up to 5 times, with each stack giving you increased stability, handling, and reload speed. And you gain stacks by getting kills and dealing damage. And the rate at which you gain stacks is increased if you have allies nearby. Pretty good. However, the shiny variant of Psychopomp is, in my opinion, the way to go. Not only do you get 2 traits in columns 3 and column 4 for a shiny variant, you also get 2 origin traits. And this applies to the shiny variant for normal Psychopomp and the adept version. That origin trait is the King's Fall origin trait, Runneth Over. Reloading near allies overflows the magazine. Now, what this allows you to do is get 2 shots in your mag per reload, as long as you have an ally within 15 meters of yourself. And to take it a step further, this can stack with Ambitious Assassin, so that you can actually get 3 shots loaded at a time, which is nuts! Yes, RNG is a fickle thing, and getting those shiny variants can be hell, which sucks because every roll I get that happens to be a shiny variant of Psychopomp never has the traits that I want, which takes us to our God Roll. Fellas, I'm gonna give you the wish list that I have, and I hope I can get it. I've been clutching my RNG crystals every day. The S tier options for just clearing out a room and wrecking ads. You want that shiny variant, whether adept or normal, really doesn't matter. Adept would be nice, but it's okay if it's the normal version. You want Runneth over as your origin traits. Now for the traits you want in that third column, keep in mind, this is the shiny variant, so you have 2 traits per column. My first choice would be Envious Assassin. My second option, if I could get it, would be Envious Arsenal, just for damage phases, but hands down, Envious Assassin is the one I want. Now for column 4, without a doubt, Rolling Storm. Until Bolt Charge gets nerfed, and hopefully it doesn't, it's just too good, man. As far as what that other trait should be in that 4th column, I'll leave it up to you guys. Whether you want to go the full court route or Frenzy, how you could even do Elemental Honing if you're in a situation where you can't easily get multiple hits in with other elemental types. But again, Rolling Storm to me, that's the perk to go for. Now, as far as mag perks, you really only have 2 choices. I like high velocity rounds, as it gives you that +10 in reload speed. For Masterwork, if you can get reload as well, that's fantastic. And for your barrel options, I like quick launch. Gives you more velocity, also gives you +15 handling. Weapon mod wise, you've got tactical for that +6 there in reload speed and handling. You also have synergy there to generate onic traces every 12 weapon kills. And if you do happen to get the God roll, the Adept shiny variant. First up, go buy a lottery ticket. You just won. I'm gonna be honest, I don't think it exists. If you happen to have it, tag me on Twitter, but I don't believe it. I'm just gonna assume it's AI generated or someone's really good at Photoshop. I personally have not seen it. But if you do have the Adept God roll, then you do have access to things like Adept reload speed for that +10 there in reload. And Bungie also said at some point they are going to be adding more Adept mods to kind of make Adept weapons a bit spicier, which is all the more reason to hang on to that roll. Again though, the traits mean more than it being Adept or not. If you have an Ambitious Assassin roll with Rolling Storm and that Runneth over origin trait, but you're like, dang though, it's just the base version of this weapon, not the Adept, I'm just gonna delete it. For the love of Christ, do not delete that thing. You see, this is why I wish we had trading in this game. It's in these moments right now that I would tell you it's garbage and you should just trade it to me for like 200 glimmer or something. I don't know. I'll make it worth your while. Unfortunately, we don't have trading, but let me just say this. Just because it's not a debt doesn't mean it's garbage. All you need is that trade combination with Runneth over on a base shiny roll. And hot damn it, you will have one of the best weapons that is dropping in Heresy. Again, fellas, if you're interested in playing Extraborn with us, check out that link down below. You can request access to the playtest and wishlist the game on Steam. Would love to squad up with some of you, so I'll see you soon. Fellas and ladies, thank you all for coming and watching, and as always,
Slap that like button like your mama told you right.